How's it going?
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, guys.
Hi, guys.
Guys, I am so excited to be here with all of you. And again, like I said, this is a dream come true. Just to be up here with everybody, it really, really is. But I also have a job to do. So, guys, how's the con been? Like, what's been the most exciting thing in Denver for you? And I'll start with Trina since you're right next to me.
There's a joke there. I think the most exciting thing for me to be here in Denver is to see Jason and Elizabeth, who I have not seen in about 3 years. And I'm going to start crying if I talk about it anymore, so I'm going to get this out.
I mean, in general, my favorite part of doing the cons is actually getting to meet you guys, because our job is so solitary. And I've just been hearing so many wonderful stories about like how, you know, like I was in the hospital recovering from such and such illness or accident, and you know, I was able to watch this anime of yours, and it helped me get through a tough time. And those just always they fill up my cup, those stories.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, and you guys are badasses, but I gotta say, Elizabeth and I have been here for almost a week because her birthday was this past Thursday. And we love Denver, so we've just been hanging in the Rhino, eating good food, meeting cool people. Denver rocks.
Yeah.
We went to, it was both of our first times. We went to Meow Wolf. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Meow Wolf. Go to Meow Wolf. Solve the mystery of outer space colonies.
Sounds awesome.
It was awesome. Next time, you gotta go.
Yeah, definitely. And ditto. Yes, I love meeting you guys. Love being able to hang out with these guys. It's just good times.
Get ready for a love fest up here, you guys.
Yes.
It's already begun. If you didn't want that, you should leave now.
So have you guys all known each other over the years through different animes that you guys have done and everything? So
Yup.
how'd you guys all meet?
Well, for me, it was actually because of Attack on Titan that I met these folks. I live in Los Angeles. You guys,
Austin.
Texas?
Elizabeth and I are in Austin.
Texas.
Nishimura's in Dallas.
So, you know, as voice actors, we record by ourselves in a soundproof room, so you don't always get to hang out with other folks you're working with. Attack on Titan was my first show for what was Funimation. It was my first time working in Texas, and what a show to start with. And it's because of Attack on Titan that I've made these lifelong friends, and it's so cool.
That is.
Elizabeth and I actually met because Christopher Sabat thought that we should meet. We both lived in Austin, and she moved from LA to Austin, and he kept asking her when they worked together, have you met Liebrecht yet? And eventually we met, and then watch out who you have a beer spilled on you by, because then you might end up together.
And Bryce, I was telling Trina, I don't know if you remember this, but we met for the first time, Trina and Bryce and I, at a convention that was specifically kind of geared towards Attack on Titan. It was at the end of season 1. And it was my very first convention being invited as a guest. And I was just like, googly heart eyes at like everybody, like, I'm sharing a stage with these famous voice actors.
I don't remember when I first met you, though, man. I mean, I know it was through Attack on Titan, but I'm not sure when we were first. It's been years and years.
It has. Yeah, I can't place that first moment. I know when Trina and I first got to hang out, it was in Australia.
It's true. So Bryce and I recorded all of season 1 and one extras feature, but we had only met in the studio once on a morning that I was not in my finest brain headspace. But it was a really good night the night before. Anyways, so that's the first time I met Bryce. I was like, hi, I'm Trina, so we're gonna be friends. Just not today. But yeah, then we actually got to know each other in Australia at a convention on a tour. We were touring for about 2 weeks together. And I was really nervous because Aaron is such an aggro character. I thought he was gonna be super aggro, and I was like, hi, I'm Trina. And he was like, hey, I'm Bryce. I was like, oh, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
So, like, with the success of the show, it's been wild up to this last. Oh, yeah, there you are. But it's been super wild, and we have the part 3 coming out for the show and everything out hopefully next year. What has it been like since just the trajectory of the show. What has it been like for you guys? Just has it opened up other roles? Has it opened up just more? You get to meet more fans and everything. What has it been like? And I'll start with Trina.
It's been super surreal. I've done conventions before, but my convention life really exploded after Attack on Titan. And I've been able to spend so much time with these amazing people. And this is the longest I've ever been with a character. It's been almost 9 years now, which has been really special and really, really important to me. I also love Mikazaki. She's the first female character that I played that was strong and independent. It wasn't just chasing a boyfriend, which I think is really important. And I just love her so much. And I mean, we've all grown up together. It feels like, we were in our 20s, but now we're in our 30s, some of us 40s. And but we've all had a lot of ups and downs and different things. And I think that's been the most special thing is that I've met so many amazing people and I've made a new tribe.
A lot of people don't realize this, but Attack on Titan was actually my very first dubbing gig in Funimation. Yeah, Amira was the first. Yeah, it was the first audition that I did for Funimation and my first little role. So it will always be incredibly special to me for that. But it is also kind of crazy because like Attack on Titan obviously has a huge fan base, but it has a really big fan base within the industry as well, which I don't know.
I didn't know.
And like, I actually was given my role of Nishimura in Persona 5 because they were having a hard time casting that role, and the director was watching Attack on Titan and was like, her, that girl, that character, that's who I want to play this role. So it has opened up some other doors for me in really awesome, beautiful ways.
That's awesome. Jason.
I've been at this a little while, like 2 decades. So for me, it was not my first role, but I was super stoked to finally get to play a part in this almost mythological property. Like, it's just got such a storied history and, a gigantic fan base, both in the industry itself and outside the industry. I feel very, very lucky.
And I'm sure Mike didn't mean this, but you and Bryce actually kind of look like you guys could be brothers.
I have been told that. Have you been told that?
Yeah. I think Mike, his casting is really incredible. He like has done so much research into the world of Attack on Titan. He just finds the right picks. And I think it was really smart of him to be able to pick from different markets of voice actors, because there's actors from all over the country that are in the show. And it's cool to be part of just such a rich ensemble. And yeah, for me, absolute life changer, really. I've been at this for quite a while too, and even though this was my first role for Funimation, I'd worked on a number of other things before. Sword Art Online, Blue Exorcist, a handful of other video games, and all sorts of stuff. But something was special about Attack on Titan, and I discovered the show before I knew I'd be able to audition for it, and I was just absolutely hooked, enthralled with this story, and I still am. I still don't know what's gonna happen. I've guessed every twist and turn wrong, and I'm sure I'm still going to.
Well, and you may not know this, but both Bryce and I have the same methodology, I think, in this regard. We don't like knowing what's going to happen until we actually have to do it. Therefore, we get this really honest initial reaction to the twists and turns that present themselves. So, we still don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, there you are.
Isn't she beautiful? See? Yeah, that's right.
All right. If do you guys have any questions? If you want to, you feel free to line up, and we'll go into some audience questions if you guys have anything. It doesn't have to be Attack on Titan related. It can be on anything. But I was going to say, I'll ask you, what's your favorite role you guys have done besides your Attack on Titan role?
I love all of my roles. They're like these weird little parts of my brain. I can't pick just one.
See, I tell people it's like asking a parent who their favorite child is, and maybe they really do have one, but they're not going to tell you. I end up loving them all for different reasons.
Sure.
And it's hard to say one over another, honestly.
I get that.
Well, I'm going to break the trend here. I've got a couple that historically were my favorites to work on. The first was the lead dual roles in a show called Darker Than Black, which I think is very difficult to find now. Basically, closest I'll ever come to playing Batman, in all likelihood. I mean, hell, it could still happen, right? How old's Ben Affleck? He's like 65. Anyway, also there's a show called Eden of the East, which Leah Clark and I are the co-leads on, and that is a wonderful show. If you haven't ever heard of it or seen it, it's very low commitment, and I don't know, I think it's the show that would lend itself most easily to being a live-action miniseries. It's a really cool show.
I cannot choose either. I don't know. Sorry, I feel like
No, it's okay. You can. It's an honest answer.
I've won the anime lottery, and yeah, it's impossible to pick. It's so difficult to book anywhere, whether it's a character you're going to live with for a while or someone that's going to get blown up in the first episode. So I feel grateful every time I get to step into the booth.
Awesome. All right.
Me too.
Go ahead.
I was kind of curious, what initially got you guys, it's a little bit of a two-part question. What initially got you guys into voice acting, and have you guys ever used your voices for evil or anything? It's kind of touch up on the question we had earlier at an earlier panel. I'm alright. So so I was an actor when I was a child. I started acting with my local community theater when I was 9 years old. I started touring professionally with the company when I was 13. That's illegal now, I think. Then I decided I was going to go to university, and I was going to be a lawyer, and I was going to school, and I had an internship, and I had 2 jobs. And a friend of mine worked at Funimation, and he was a sound engineer, and he was like, hey, Trina, there's this audition. I was like, no, Jimmy, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be a lawyer. And he was like, it pays. I was like, when is it? And I auditioned, and I was cast, and the bug hit me with me. My very first role was in 2004, and it was a good show.
That's a great answer.
And I can see her face. Her name is Namiko, and it was a great show. As far as evil, yes, I call, when my friends don't return my calls, I'll call their work and pretend to be the IRS.
I have also wanted to be an actor since I was like 5 years old, but I pursued only film and TV stuff for much of my life, and then I moved from LA to Texas, and kind of knew I needed to be a little bit more creative and think outside the box and how to continue making a living as a performer. And I did some brainstorming with some friends, and they were like, you've got the training, you've got the interest, why don't you do voiceover? And lo and behold, I'd actually moved to a great part of the country to pursue voiceover. And the last time I can remember using my voice for evil, Chris Sabat and I hosted the GameStop managers conference a couple years back, and we did some prank calls to like GameStop stores, and I ended up having to do them all because Chris's voice is so iconic that it's like people immediately knew who he was. So it's pretty fun.
Yes, like the two of them, I've been acting since I was a kid. I think I started when I was about 6 or 7 in TV, film, and theater mainly. And was actually with a touring theater company even past the point that I started doing this in 2002. And my story was I was at a birthday party at a bar in Austin, Texas, and ended up shutting down the bar with a director from ADV Films, and he, at the end of the night, was like, hey man, you got a nice voice. Why don't you come in Monday and see if you can do this thing? And that was 20 years ago.
Nice. I was in the right place at the right time also. I was born into a family of actors. My dad was working on Power Rangers. He used to play Rito Revolto, the skeleton dude, and a bunch of monsters in the show. I used to love to go into work with him, and they needed a kid's voice, and he's like, he's a kid, throw him in the booth! And that's how I got started. And then using my voice for evil, I used to prank call girls in middle school as their female friends.
I used to, when I didn't want to talk to my mother when I got to college, I would answer the phone as like a little girl and pretend that she'd gotten the number wrong.
Hello. All right. My question is gonna go to Bryce. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the very first if memory serves me right, one of the very first like main character when you voiced for a main character was Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight.
Yeah.
And that anime, that was actually one of the biggest peaks in my childhood. Like watching Cartoon Network back in 2004 and 2005, talking to Cartoon Network City, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That was the best one. What was it like working along on that show when its second season was hit? You know, working with like Allison and Sandy Fox and others. Like, what was it like doing that?
Yeah, pretty incredible. That was actually my first lead that I was cast in, and I was so young I couldn't sign my own paperwork. And it's pretty cool to play a kid going into a video game only to grow up as an adult to play a kid that goes into a video game as Kirito. How far I've come. But yeah, I used to do the same thing. I would stay up past bedtime, watch Toonami, and it was cool to hear myself on the screen. And it's incredible that like as I grew up, I found this run of Toonami shows with Durarara and Blue Exorcist and Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. It's just years stretch of me on Toonami. It's been pretty surreal.
And did it ever cross your mind that when you did the voice of Kirito, you said to yourself, didn't I do this like before? Like,
I think they could trust me with the part. They're like, oh, he's done this before. He made it out of one game. We'll see what happens this time.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for watching and remembering Dot Hack.
Hi. So a lot of you guys have done like countless characters, and I just kind of wanted to ask, like, are there any that you feel like you gave a stronger performance for?
That we gave a stronger performance for?
Yeah, like one that you kind of favored and kind of did a bit more research, a little bit more. Yeah, just along those lines.
It's funny that you say like research and preparation, those things. Like, we don't really get a lot of time to do that. The majority of the time, like usually you don't know what you're going to say that day. And even if you watch the episode in Japanese, they translate it and they don't give you scripts before you go in. So a lot of it is just based on how you feel in the moment, and whatever comes out kind of comes out. I know for me, every time I step into the booth, I try to bring my A game and do everything I can to add to what's going on in the show, or just the best I can in that moment. So it's interesting to look back at things I did years and years ago and see kind of the growth that I've had as an actor. It's fun to watch that and think, oh, maybe I would have done that differently now, but at that time, that's kind of who I was and what I was as an actor. So it's cool to kind of see that back.
One thing that I remember, I feel like I'll always be proud of because of how technically difficult dubbing can be. I was in a show called Noragami with Jason. And in season 2, my character Bishamon has a really, really intense breakdown. Not just like, ooh, like, I mean, she really, like, it's minutes long of her, like, sobbing like a child. And that's honestly, for me, some of the most difficult dubbing to do, because you're having to, like, clock, like, okay, she takes, like, 2 stuttering breaths there, and then she wails for about 3.5 seconds, and then she, like, sniffles, and then she starts crying. So it's like you're trying to track these things while having this intense emotional connection. And I think it may be the only time in my career that I nailed something as technically difficult like that in one take. And it was like a two minute long take. So I was like, oh, thank gosh.
I mean, when that kind of stuff happens, it is really, really gratifying. I mean, it feels like things have to align so precisely, perfectly for that to happen. And I've got a couple that are, I guess, similar. I'm in a video game series called Borderlands as Mordecai. And at some point in 2, spoiler alert, Mordecai loses his best friend, his pet, his bird. Is it me? Anyway, it was a similar scene to what Elizabeth is describing. And having lost many people and pets in my life, it was somewhat easier for me to connect with that moment, but it was still emotionally devastating. That's the kind of actor I am. I don't want to give you anything fake. I want to try to feel it. And when you do it like that, where it works for everybody in the room, yeah, it's exciting and really, really gratifying.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We've got time for a couple more. I don't want to cut anybody off, but no, you guys come in. But I was going to say, if you guys have questions and we have to end, they are at their booth. You can ask them anything you want and get a signature and everything. So I just want to let you know. But go ahead.
So my question is kind of more specific in Attack on Titan, because I loved Eren so much, and seeing him flip his lid basically and turn into this different character was like an emotional shock for me. So I kind of wanted to see how all you guys felt about that. Like, I wanted to get your perspective on it.
I thought it sucked.
I agree. I was not okay with it. Like,
I'm
his
like-
passion and was gone. It was just not there no more.
Well, we were like all about the brother thing, and then suddenly, like, and we didn't know it was coming either. So, we get in that session. I think you did it before me, and I was like, what? What is he doing? And Mike's like, yep, it's happening. Yep. Yeah, that was rough.
As an actor, it was one of the coolest things because I did not know that I was going to play Eren so many different ways, and I'll try not to spoil. Let me just ask this: who's read the manga all the way to the end? Don't say anything to us. Who's watched the anime for everything that's been released? Cool, that's where I'm at. Who has never seen Attack on Titan before? Sweet. For you guys, it's like a lighthearted comedy. Just on a day you need like a little pick-me-up. Check it out then.
It's perfect for really young children.
Yes. So, actually, I don't know if she's here, but someone told me that Attack on Titan was released on Mother's Day. Like the first episode was Mother's Day. And we all know what happens in episode 1. It's great.
I know.
Brutal, right? They planned that out.
I have never forgotten that moment. I've never forgotten that moment, seeing that for the first time.
So, I get to play itty-bitty Eren, angsty teenage Eren, bigger Eren, and now this new long-haired version of Eren. And to play a character so many different ways, especially after 3 seasons of thinking I know this character, and then playing him just cold. It was so interesting and so exciting to be able to recreate the character after all that time. As far as a viewer, I don't know. I'm still not sure yet. I really back Eren. I want to believe that what he's doing is right, but I just don't know.
It's not. It's kind of crazy how much your whatever, I'm not going to call it anything, affected how I interpreted my character. Like, it was like, oh, that's who whoa. Anyway.
That experience
We're
of
like saying nothing and saying all these words. Like,
yes. But the experience of like, and everything changes, like, I feel like Titan does that so well. And every single time, even there in the moments that it's happening, like, I'm still just like, that's what we're doing. And it's so cool.
You really got to think on your feet in that booth.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, unfortunately, this will be our last question right here for Mika-san.
But
yeah,
I think, are all of us going back to our tables after this?
Yep.
Yes.
So please come by after the table, hang out, or after the panel.
How long are you here for?
I think until the very end. I'll probably have to leave right before the convention closes out.
Trina and Elizabeth and I are all going to have to leave at about 4. So just so you know.
See them first. Go see them, and then come hang out with me.
All right. Last question right here.
Hi, so this is regarding Attack on Titans. I was wondering, other than the character you already are acting as, who would you like to voice as in Attack on Titans?
Emir.
Can I ask why?
Because
No explanation. I know.
we're very competitive. No, I'm just joking.
Well, it's a tie between Mikasa for the reasons that you stated, that I love that she's like an independent, badass woman. But also maybe Levi, because I can't pull off a scarf that well. and I'd like to live vicariously through him.
Like his ascot or her
Yeah.
scarf?
No,
I
his
just wanna be-
ascot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I call it a scarf, but yes, his ascot.
Clear. I love Sasha. I love Sasha so much. She's the first person that I auditioned for the role, or for Attack on Titan. I auditioned for Sasha and Armin, and then Mike McFarland, the director, was like, "Hey, you should audition for me," because I was like, "That's so cute, sure." But yeah, so I love Sasha. She loves potatoes. I love potatoes. I feel like we're just meant to be. Although I will say Ashley is amazing.
I think Mike got the casting right, but I also would love to play Levi. I auditioned for Aaron, Armin, and Levi, but I think it's
I think
hard
you did
to
okay, dude.
it's hard to pull off a Matthew Mercer like he does. So yeah, and if there was a spin-off, I would want there to be a spin-off with the Derpy Titan, my favorite Titan, this guy.
Oh my gosh!
And I would want to voice him.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Yes, guys, give it up for everyone here.
Thank
we
you, guys.
appreciate you all. We have a surprise for you all, so stick around. You guys are. Yeah, Trina knows the surprise now, but no, you guys don't yet. So stick around for just a second.
Thanks again, guys.
Survival.